Hello techies. In this tutorial, we will learn two different file actions, such as read text from file action, write text to file action. First of all, we'll learn about read text from file action. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. What exactly this read text file will do? It will read the content of the text file and it will store content as single text value or list of lines. I will show you with a small example. If you see on my screen, I'm having employee text file. If you see over here, I'm having the data related to the employees, name, email ID, status, date of joining, and you can see a number of data. This is actually CSV file, but don't consider this as a CSV file. Just consider it as a text file over here. Okay. Now, if you see over here, what will happen when I want to read the data from this file? It will consider or it will store the entire data when I'm going to use read text from file action. All this data it will store as a single text value, or if you see every line, it will be considered as a single list. If you see, this is one line, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This will be adding to the list. All right. Now I will show you how to read text from that file. Let me browse that file. In learning files actions, I'm having that file that is employee. Let me select that. Now if you see over here, store content as, there are two options that we have. One single text file, another one list. This list is nothing but what will happen each and every line, it will be considered as an item and then it will add to the list. All right, first of all, I will show you how we are going to be storing the content as a single text file. Let me select that. And there you can see encoding. That is, we are having different encodings over here like ANSI, Unicode, Big Endian, and UTF. So I'm going to select the default one, UTF-8. Now, if I'm going to store the content as single text value, there it will be produced a variable flow or flow variable that is file contents. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, this entire data which we are going to store as a content will be stored in the file contents variable. Let me click on save. To get the notification particular flow has been executed or not, what I will do, I will just use display message to know the flow has been executed or not. Now I'm just going to give it as flow, and then I will give it the message display as flow completed. And then let me click on save. Now if you see, whenever the read text file has been happened from the particular file, that is employee.txt file, the entire data we have stored in a single text value that will be stored in the file content. All right, let's go ahead, let's run the flow. The flow has executed successfully, and then you can see the entire data has been stored in a single text value. You can see over here in the flow variables that file content storing that entire value. All right, now let me click on OK. Now the same data which we are going to read from the text file, what I have to do, I have to store in the list. How can I go ahead and do that? Now let me edit this read text from file action, and there I'm going to give the option store content as list. Each is a list item over here. Nothing but every line that we are having, it will be considered as the item. Let me click on save. Over here, what I will do, if you see, the value has been stored in file contents 2. I want to know the data has been stored in list or not. How can I go ahead and do that? Now let me go to loops. Over here, I will use for each. Let me drag and drop this for each action onto the workspace. Over here, what I will select, values to iterate, I will consider the file content 2. Let me select that flow variable over here, select file contents 2, and then let me click on save. So from the files content to, that is list, it will store in the current item, right? Now I want to know what kind of data has been stored. For that, what I will do, I will simply select a display message. Now in the display message, what I will do, I will give it the name as list. And what is the message to display? Whatever the current item that we have, that I'm going to select it and I'm going to display in for each loop. Let me click on save. Let's run the flow once again. Now if you see over here, whenever I have read the data from the file by using read text from file, there whatever we have done, we have stored the data content as list, right? Now if you see in that file content too, I'm having the list as each and every line. And then you can see the first current item from the list that you can see name, email ID, status, date of joining. Let me click on OK. Now if you see, this is the second item in the list, third, fourth, and fifth. And finally, we can get the last line and the item over here. Now the flow has been executed successfully. Now I hope you understand how to store the content as a single text value and also as a list by using read text from file action. Alright, now we will learn how to work with write text to file. Now let me drag and drop this write text to file onto the workspace. Now if you see over here the file path where I want to write the data, that file path it is asking. Let me select that file path and I'm just going to give on the desktop itself, I'm going to give the path over here. Just I will make a name as write file dot txt and then I'm going to click on open. So if you see over here in my desktop, I don't have that file name, that is writefile.txt. Now what it will do, whenever the flow is running, it will create a file on the desktop and then it will write and appends the data to the file. Now let's assume I want to write the data. What kind of data that I want to write? Let's assume I want to write from the same kind of thing, file content to itself. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select that file, that is file content 2. And then over here you can see append new line. That what will happen if I'm having multiple data then coming from the different sources, then it will append as a new line to the write file to text. Alright, now I have selected this option. Now if you see if files exist, it has to override the existing content or appending the content. Now I will override the existing content if there is any content over here for the first time. Okay, and then I'm going to click on save. Now over here what I'm going to do, what are the data that I have read from the employee.txt that I'm going to write into the writefile.txt which is there on the desktop. If the file doesn't exist, then what it will do, it will create a new file with the name of writefile.txt and then it will write or it will append the data to an existing file. Let's run the flow to check the output. Now if you see the file on the desktop just created with the name of writefile.txt and then we will see what is the data has written in that particular file. Let me click on OK. Now let's open the writefile.txt. Now if you see whatever the data we are having in the employee.txt file that has been written in the writefile.txt in the format of the same way that how we have written that the data has been written over here by using write text file action. I hope you understand how to work with read text from file and write text to file action by using files actions as part of this tutorial. Thank you for watching Power Automate tutorials. If you have any queries related to this concept, please post them in the comment section. I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Have a wonderful day.